What is going on, team? Welcome to another video. I am here once again with a different backdrop. I've left Bali. I left about 3-4 days ago, and I'm here in beautiful Melbourne staying with a good buddy of mine. So I have not yet done a training vlog since I've been here in Australia, and today is not that day for you. What I am going to do, however, is do something that's quite common in the YouTube game at the moment, and that is show you what I eat in a day. There are a couple of nuances and strange kind of tweaks to the way that I execute my nutrition that probably will be a little bit different from that of most. So I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of that. And feature number one is something I used to gob off a lot about, but haven't done in a while, is I do in fact intermittent fast. And an amazing tool for people who intermittent fast, even if they're trying to kind of put on weight effectively, is to have electrolyte salts, basically first thing in the morning. So I have mine here. I have just got up. It is not first thing, but it is first thing for me. I kind of sip this and maybe another one over the course of the first kind of couple of hours. But when you are intermittent fasting, you're not really having anything. And there are also a lot of benefits, not necessarily to your metabolism, but to your ability to kind of break down fat cells. Electrolyte salts work on your adrenal system, so they kind of perk you up pretty much straight away. I, again, because I'm fasting, have the unflavored one. So these basically taste like I'm drinking seawater, but for some reason, I've just become a little bit addicted to it. So today, overall, we're going to talk about what I eat, what I drink, why it's probably a little bit different from that of some other hybrid athletes. We're going to talk about when I do this. We're going to talk about timing of protein, carbs, and fat. We're going to talk a little bit about supplements and stuff as well, and how sometimes the way that we approach nutrition on a rest day might then change from a day that's in the gym from a day that's running. And as importantly, we're going to talk about why I believe that some of these principles are actually as important or more important in terms of things like nutrient timing than just the macros and the slightly more kind of conventional bro science approach to nutrition. I have some work stuff to do now, which is what I'm going to be cracking on with. I'm going to still enjoy my electrolyte salts, but one of the things I will say straight away is that I personally don't have coffee for the first kind of 90 minutes after I get up. I've heard from a couple of different people, Chris Williamson from Modern Wisdom, who I believe heard it from Andrew Huberman, that basically your adenosine system, so the system in your body that caffeine binds to, isn't actually awake and active for the first 90 minutes. So there is an effect that it's going to have, but nowhere near as much as if you wait for an hour and a half. But for all the other cheeky little nuances, you just have to wait and see. And I've now left the house, which luckily doesn't usually take too long. So for me, this isn't really food related, but it's relevant to health, so I'm going to throw it at you. Basically, within about 10 minutes of me getting up, I like to kind of enter into action pretty much straight away and make a flipping beeline for sunlight. So wherever I am, if I'm in the city, if I'm in the country, if I'm wherever the hell I am, obviously it's not always possible, but having kind of direct sunlight coming in through your eyes on the photoreceptors on your skin, usually from the waist up, your upper body seems infinitely more kind of susceptible to it than any other part of your body. But basically it's single-handedly one of the best ways to kind of keep your circadian rhythm set, so the quality of your sleep that night will be ideal because you get sunlight on your skin, and then 16 hours later your body will start to dump melatonin into your blood. So basically 16 hours before you want to go to bed, if you kind of reverse engineer it from that point, that's a really good kind of like scientific bedrock to get direct sunlight into the photoreceptors onto your skin and into your eyes at exactly that point. Not really food related, but I thought it was something relevant. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the video. It's been 90 minutes. Coffee is going to be amazing. Back at Keith's apartment after a nice little walk and a little bit of work, and now it is flipping time for coffee. So it's about 11:43 a.m, but I don't break my fast until about 12:30. And since I've been here, I have tried to be super strict actually. Sometimes I feel as though I'm the kind of personality type with too much wiggle room. Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. So sometimes I'm like, these are the specific criteria that I have to exist by. That kind of helps me. So I will not be breaking my fast now, even though it's only kind of 30-45 minutes away. I will be having a nice cheeky little black coffee, which obviously doesn't break your fast because it's metabolized through the liver. So a good tool for intermittent fasting. But Keith has here, as we can see, an AeroPress. And I have to be honest, I've never flipping used one. So I made a little video on my iPhone about 10 minutes ago when Keith was still here of how the hell to actually flipping use this thing. So one black coffee hopefully coming up. Let's see if I can figure it out. I have to say, I'm pretty bloody happy with that. The fact that it didn't blow up and it didn't break anything, doing it for the first time ever in someone else's house, is a win for me. Morning coffee to be enjoyed whilst doing a little bit of work on my friend's balcony in the Australian sun. That's a flipping good Thursday. Okay, so it's now 1 p.m, so we're actually a little bit over. Work is done. So basically it's gonna take me kind of 10, 15, 20 minutes. Prep the food that I'm gonna have to basically break my fast today. So we've gone over a couple of things already in terms of my particular approach and nuanced kind of attack of like a hybrid training, hybrid athlete diet. The first one is I intermittent fast. The second one is I make sure I have electrolyte salts basically straight away. The next one is that I don't have any caffeine for at least the first 90 minutes of being awake, because my adenosine system basically isn't on until then, but electrolytes work on your adrenal system, which is on all the time, so you do get a little bit perked up from that. So now moving into how I actually break my fast, and bear in mind this vlog is primarily what I eat in a day and I haven't flipping eaten anything yet. I am a huge believer in the fact that there are certain kind of baseline principles that might give you an idea of what would be good and would be kind of optimal for you, and attempting to marry those up with a little bit of kind of intuitive eating. The healthier that you are generally, you should have a slightly higher baseline level of context and rough understanding of what you think works for you and what seems to work for your body. To give you a little bit of clarity on what the hell I'm talking about right now, for me, I am a huge believer that I am optimized by having carbohydrates as a replenishment tool, not as like pre-fuel for my day. So basically, I am happy to not really have a huge amount of carbohydrates until the evening. So with that, you are also most insulin sensitive at the end of a fast, which means when I intermittent fast, I have a high protein, high fat meal to break my fast, and I don't really have any carbohydrates with that, or very low amount anyway. That tends to make me feel better. I tend to feel nourished, I don't feel as bloated, and I don't feel tired. So what does that first high protein, high fat, low carb meal look like? Well, check this out. Okay, as another little hack, actually, I say meal one of the day. Meal one has a little bit of a starter, which is, again, any nutritional stuff that you've seen of me do ever, you'll probably know. I'm a massive, massive, massive fan of athletic greens. Athletic greens, or AG1, is something that I brought with me from the UK all the way to Bali, and it's kind of lasted with me now, so I've brought kind of enough with me for about 2 months. It is a green shake. I think it's got about 75 active ingredients. It has probiotics, prebiotics, it's a multivitamin, multi-mineral, it's a green shake. It's absolutely flipping incredible, and as far as green shakes go, it tastes amazing. This effectively is the multivitamin that I have on a daily basis now. I'm just so ingrained in my routine with having this, and I read somewhere that it's most effectively absorbed through the gut if you have it with quite cold water and you have it on an empty stomach. So I break my fast with this and then effectively allow it to do its thing for kind of 20-ish minutes while I'm making the rest of my kind of first proper meal, and then get that down me as well. So let's see how we get on. With like a completely neutral palate, where the only thing I've had is about a little bit of black coffee about an hour and a half ago, this genuinely tastes like the most flipping refreshing thing ever. So whilst I'm enjoying this, I'll tell you about my first meal of the day. High protein, high fat, low carb first meal to break my fast properly. I'm not a massive fan of mixing protein sources. Generally, there's a little bit of data now to suggest that our body only really has the ability to release one flesh breaking down enzyme at a time per sitting. So the idea of like surf and turf, steak and fish in the same sitting probably isn't a great idea. But I'm pretty lazy with this in this first meal because I like eggs and I like something to go with my eggs. So I only have 2 eggs left, but I will be having those with the main staple of the meal, which is some gluten-free beef sausages. There are 6 in there, probably, I don't know, I might just have all 6, who knows. I will see how I feel when I put the pan on. I'll be having that with a little bit of broccoli, which is kind of going off, but I want to make sure that I have some veg in the meal. Decent quality, healthy, plant-based fats. I will be having a full avocado, and very few people, in my opinion, think enough about what they cook their food in as an active ingredient. So if they're having healthy food, but they're cooking it in 400 milliliters of flipping canola oil, it's probably not going to be great for them. It's just going to absolutely pillage their mitochondria. So grass-fed ghee, unbelievable. Basically, ghee is like unpasteurized butter, but there's no lactose in it, there's no casein in it. And this is one of the reasons that good quality ghee doesn't really affect people, even who might have be fairly lactose intolerant. So my girlfriend, she can't have lactose, I understand why she's reticent to do it, but I'm still trying to get her to trial grass-fed ghee just to kind of see how she feels. Chuck all of this stuff in a pan, super quick and easy, 10 to 15 minutes. Loads of good quality protein, loads of good quality fat, cooked in a healthy substance, low carbs so I don't get a flipping dump of melatonin sleep hormone, which is not exactly what I want at 1 p.m. Let's get cooking, shall we? And here we have it. This is the lunch setup. It turns out it was an ungodly amount of beef sausages. So of the 6, I was like, yeah, I'll have 6 and some eggs as well. That is 4 beef sausages, a whole avocado, a little bit of broccoli, and I'll have some gluten-free wraps. So that's basically the wraps, the chia and quinoa wraps are basically the only kind of carb implement into that first meal. But look at this. You can tell I'm flipping traveling with a mate who's a PT, right? As we have literally a rig in the lounge where my buddy Keith trains his clients, and I'm about to have lunch, sitting on a couch, eating from a bench, having some sausage and avocado wraps, probably a coffee after, but obviously I'll show you that because that'll be relevant to the vlog, and watching some Netflix or a podcast. What an amazing day I'm having, and I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'll get this down me now with a little bit of barbecue sauce, and then we can see what the rest of my daily input looks like. Delicious. Okay, so we have gone over the use of electrolytes first thing in the morning because electrolytes work on your adrenal system, which is always active, and help break down visceral fat cells when you're intermittent fasting. We have also gone over waiting for about 90 minutes until you have your first portion or serving of caffeine in a day because your adenosine system takes about 90 minutes to wake up. We've gone over having high protein, high fat first meal, kind of the breaking of the fast because you're most insulin sensitive at the end of a fast. So you don't want something super high carby in the morning. That narrative was basically invented by Kellogg's to try to get us to have high carb breakfast. Lunch has been done. I'm now here at a coffee shop. Considering I'm still in Melbourne, I have to indulge a little bit. I've got a flat white with a little bit of honey in it and almond milk, and I'm gonna do a little bit of work. I'm gonna have this coffee. I'm probably gonna be staying here for about another 60, 90 minutes, and then we'll get on to our next meal. Okay, so it is now 6:30 p.m, which is a little bit later than I normally have my kind of mid-afternoon feed, but I have a protein shake. I'm here at CrossFit Create CrossFit in Melbourne, which is like 200 meters away from the apartment I'm staying. It's flipping amazing, unbelievable. You will see this in future vlogs over the course of the next month. But here we have about 600 calories in the form of sugar and protein. Absolutely spot on. Mid-afternoon snack is an absolute kind of paramount pillar for me. Again, this is a lot later. I normally have this around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I normally have a protein shake and some fruit, some kind of nuts and seeds, very kind of paleo-based protein shake, and basically an apple is what I'm gonna have today, but that is just because I'm on the move a little bit more than I normally am, as kind of fortune would have it today. But I'll get this down me, I'll do a little bit of editing, and then I'll crack on. I'll go back for dinner, and I will show you what that dinner looks like shortly. Extremely loud in there, so I couldn't really talk, but basically that was a 600 calorie protein shake with banana, some cocoa in it, and I think the only thing I have consumed that I haven't actually shown you is I've had about a month of creatine, so I'm on a loading phase at the moment, which is about 20 grams a day for about 4 or 5 days, so I'm necking some of that, and I had 10 grams that I didn't show you, so sorry, that questions my intellectual credibility and the fact that this is supposed to be a fully transparent day. But yeah, basically that's my afternoon snack. Would have gone into a little bit more detail. Is normally kind of paleo in the fact that I'm not a massive fan of lactose or casein in my dairy products, so I normally prefer clear whey, but it doesn't really seem to be a massive thing out here in Australia, to be honest. So just kind of standard whey protein, had to suck it up and take the casein, but banana, cocoa, a little bit of peanut butter was in there, a little bit of honey was in there, and basically a Choco Snickers thing is what I had. Normally it's a little bit of clear whey, some fruit and some nuts and seeds, but unfortunately I'm unable to show you that today, but to offer context, that is usually what I would have. It just had to be edited a little bit, and again it was a little bit later, 6:30 p.m. for an afternoon snack is definitely slightly late, but today. That is what I managed to get down me while I was doing a little bit of last minute editing. It is now just gone 7. I effectively, because I only really broke my fast at about 1 p.m, just after 1 p.m, I effectively, to stay consistent with a 16-8 kind of intermittent fasting split that I attempt to have, I've effectively got until about 9 p.m. to have my evening meal. I'll be having it before then, because my routine here is a little bit earlier anyway, but what I will be doing is basically going to get a few bits and bobs of food now, back to Keith's, and then I shall show you what will be having for dinner. So, to the final component of the day, I will be cooking my evening meal in a minute. So, we've covered the electrolytes, we've covered the coffee, we've covered athletic greens, the kind of things that you want in the first meal that you break a fast with, and basically my incredibly expedient afternoon snack, which is normally a lot more kind of decoratively beautiful and intriguing rather than just the protein shake you got from the gym. But evening meal, what I'll be having in a second is I'm going to put together some turkey mince, some mixed veg and some rice. So what I do is basically attempt to just keep 3 kind of primary ingredients. The whole idea that you want to diversify your kind of nutritional input as much as possible through your day or through the week in that kind of shorter time gap. I'm kind of experimenting with going away from that a little bit and trying to kind of double down on actually just having a few kind of key bedrock ingredients for pretty much most of the week. So turkey mince, super simple, rice, mixed veg, easy as that. We'll be cracking on with that in a second, and a decent amount, again, because I want to be having about 3,500 calories a day and from only 2 main meals and then a snack in the middle. The meals have to be pretty fairly flipping chunky. It's a rest day today, so not that much, nowhere near kind of the rice portion that I would normally have, a little bit lower. Let's go to the kitchen and see how we get on. Keith, say hi to the viewers.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. What is on the menu for you?
I'm cooking chicken wraps.
There we go. And Keith's a nutritionist, don't you know? So there you go, you heard it here first. So, super simple, couple of veg, got a mouldy quarter of a carrot, some broccoli, some asparagus, and some turkey mince. Again, super simple. Again, obviously, cooked in ghee. I do believe that what we cook the food in should be kind of, should have some level of consideration. It is not really a considered ingredient if it's just part of the process. But again, if you're drowning it in flipping canola oil, you're probably going to die very, very young, which is not really ideal for anyone. So, me and Keith are going to massage each other and dance around the kitchen listening to some music in a minute. And you don't get to see that. That's a slightly higher tariff. But let's see how we get on with dinner. No more than 4 ingredients, a bit of seasoning, and probably about 11 minutes in the pan. Mwah! And as if by magic, it is a brand new day. That is my full day of eating vlog, ticked and in the bag. It's the first vlog style thing I've done. And it's weird, I've never kind of considered myself a particular authority on nutrition, and I'm actually quite outspoken on the fact that I don't think a lot of personal trainers should be talking about it too much because they are grossly underqualified. But at the same time, I'm kind of aware that the way I particularly execute nutrition is actually slightly different from that of a lot of people. Again, making sure that I have my electrolytes, not having coffee for the first 90 minutes, breaking my fast with athletic greens, but then a high protein, high fat, low carb meal, only really kind of having carbs post training and kind of in the evening to assist with replenishment and then melatonin production and release, so I sleep better after a high carb evening meal, but with a good kind of afternoon snack, protein and carb portion, like a protein shake and then some nuts and seeds. So there are a few nuances, so I hope you did enjoy this, guys. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you have not yet done so, please do subscribe. Lots of unbelievable content on the way, and you have to trust me in that. I'm the only one that knows, because I plan it. Have an amazing day, guys. As always, stay strong, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will see you in the next video.